Good morning. We will now discuss some typical journal entries. The usual journal entries we have already passed, now some typical journal entries. Typical in this sense, sometimes it may pose a problem for you. So, if you know the practice how these entries will be passed, then it will be easier for you. So, first one among them is interest on capital and interest on drawings. Number one is interest on capital. When interest is due on the capital, usually it is not given in cash, thereby the capital is increased and interest on capital is to be paid by the business house to the proprietors. So, it will be an expense so far as the business house is concerned. Therefore, interest on capital account will be debited. Interest on capital account debited to capital account. Suppose 1 lakh rupees is the capital and we have to give 10% interest per annum. So, it is amounting to 10,000. So, interest on capital account will be debited 10,000 to capital account 10,000. Being interest due on capital. Opposite of interest on capital is interest on drawings. Suppose the proprietor has withdrawn some cash, on that we have charged interest amounting to rupees 500. So, this expense is of the proprietor, but so far as the business is concerned, it is an income. So, income means interest on drawings has got to be credited, credit all incomes and gains. So, interest on drawings will be credited. So, if interest on drawings will be credited, what will be debited? Drawings account will be debited. Drawings account debited, say 500 to interest on drawings. This will be the entry. As you know, both capital and drawings are representative personal account and they represent the same person, that is the proprietor. So, here the proprietor is credited, means he gains, and here it is his expense. So, his account is debited, drawings account debited. Now, we will come to purchase of fixed assets. Purchase of fixed assets. Suppose we are purchasing a machinery for rupees 50,000 for cash. The entry will be machinery account debited. $50,000 to cash account 50,000. Here, if some amount is yet to be paid, that means suppose out of 50,000 we have paid 30,000 in cash and 20,000 rupees is the balance due on us. There will be little bit of change. To cash account it will be 30,000 because we are given only 30,000, cash is going out 30,000, and to supplier account 20,000. Being the machinery purchased for 50,000, out of which 30,000 cash has been given and 20,000 rupees is the balance due. Then Sale of fixed assets, similar or just the opposite entry will be there. When sale of fixed asset will be there, machinery account has to be credited and cash account will be debited, just the opposite of that. Now, coming to exchange of old asset for a new one. Exchange of old furniture of rupees 10,000 for a new one amounting to rupees 16,000. So, here we can pass simple one entry, that the furniture account was there 10,000, let it be there, that is going out, and again a new furniture is coming, but its cost is 16,000. So, only you can pass the entry for the difference. There are two ways. First one, you can pass furniture account debited $6,000 to cash account 6,000. This you can pass. Or if there will be two accounts of the furniture, that is old furniture exchanged and new furniture is coming in, and you have to mention both the things, you can write new furniture account debited 16,000 to old furniture account $10,000 to cash account 6,000. This also you can write. Here the narration will be different. Here you can write new furniture worth rupees 16,000 purchased in exchange of old furniture amounting to 10,000 and the balance 6,000 paid in cash. So, in this way you can give the narration of this. This is regarding the exchange. Now, coming to depreciation on fixed assets. Suppose we have got a machinery of rupees 1 lakh and every year we are providing depreciation at the rate of 10% on this 1 lakh. So, the depreciation amounts to 10,000. Depreciation being a nominal account will have to be debited, debit or losses and expenses. So, depreciation account debited 10,000. Two, the value of the machinery is decreasing. When the value of the asset will increase, it is debited. When it will decrease, it will be credited. So, to machinery account. Depreciation account debited to machinery account, being the annual depreciation charged on the machinery at the rate of 10% of 1 lakh amounting to rupees 10,000. That you can write as the narration. Then goods or cash distributed as charity, we have already discussed in the last class, and for free samples also we have discussed. Now, payment on behalf of the customers. Payment on behalf of a customer, say rupees 8,000. If on behalf of a customer we are paying 8,000 rupees cash, then the cash account will be credited and who will be debited. Although he has asked us to give it to suppose a business organization or to another agency of the government, whatever it may be. But we will not write, we are not concerned about them, we are concerned about that customer and our cash. So, these are the two accounts involved, not that person who is receiving the cash. Naturally, the entry here will be customer account debited to cash account. So, we will not mention about the nature of that payment. Suppose he is giving that electricity and he has requested us and we have paid the amount. We can write customer account debited, not electricity account debited. He will write electricity account debited. Again, here we can write the narration, being rupees 8,000 cash paid on behalf of our customer towards his electricity bill. Similarly, if a customer gives us or on our behalf, then what will be the entry? When a customer makes a payment on our behalf. Suppose we have requested a customer to give on our behalf the electricity bill. There the electricity bill account debited or electricity account debited say 500 rupees to customer account. Who is the giver? Credit the giver. So, to customer account 500. Electricity account debited to cash, it would have been if we would have given the cash, but on our behalf the customer has given, so he will be getting the credit. The entry will be electricity account debited to customer account. Then advance paid to supplier. Suppose in order to get the supply in next year, we are giving some advance. So, when advance is given, you will have to give cash. So, that cash or bank account, if you are giving the advance in way of a check, then bank account will be credited and who will be debited? Supplier account will be debited. So, the entry will be supplier account debited to cash account, whatever may be the amount. Similarly, if we are receiving advance, we receiving advance from a customer, that becomes a liability. So, we will write cash account debited to advance from customer account. When we are giving appointment to our employees, we may receive some amount from him towards the security deposit. Suppose by employing one person as a clerk, we are receiving, or a cashier, we are receiving 1 lakh rupees from him towards the security deposit. So, what will be the entry? At that time, it will be bank account or cash account debited to security deposit account. Being the security deposit received from the newly appointed clerk, rupees 1 lakh. Here, that security deposit belongs to your liability. When he will be discharged from the service, we will have to pay him that 1 lakh rupees, because this is not the amount he has given for any other reason, but to keep a security till he is continuing as a clerk in our organization. Then, a similar type of entry will be receipt of apprenticeship premium. What is this apprenticeship premium? Suppose we are an engineering organization. So, fresh engineers, in order to gain some experience, they may be appointed as apprentice. So, when they will be working as an apprentice in our organization, there are certain things which will teach him, and he will be the gainer for that, and for that we may charge some premium or fees from him. That is called apprenticeship fees or apprenticeship premium. That apprenticeship premium is our income, that is a revenue. So, it will be credited because it is an income, credit all incomes and gains. So, it has got to be credited, and the cash which he is giving, that will be debited. The entry will be cash account debited to apprentice premium account, apprenticeship premium account. This will be the entry. Then loan advanced and loan received or loan borrowed. Loan advanced. When a loan is advanced, that loan becomes our asset, because we have given means we will get it back after some days. So, that asset means again it will be debited. Loan account debited to cash account. But when we are borrowing a loan, we are taking a loan from the bank or from some financial institutions or from some particular person or organization. What will be the entry? The reverse entry will be there. That loan becomes our liability, and if it is a liability, it is our duty to repay him. Liability will be always credited and cash account will be debited. In that case, cash account debited to loan account. Loan account debited to cash when it is advanced, when borrowed, cash account debited to loan account. Now, we will go to difficult journal entries, little bit more difficult journal entries, typical journal entries, but little bit more difficult. So, here goods of the selling price of rupees 20,000 were sold at a trade discount of 5% and cash discount of 2%, payment received by check. Goods sold for rupees 20,000. There is a cash discount and there is also trade discount. Trade discount is equal to suppose 10% and cash discount is equal to 5%, and the amount is received through check, that means bank account. So, how it will be calculated? When both trade discount and cash discounts are given, we have to see which discount will be treated how. What is a trade discount? A trade discount is a type of discount which is given to increase the volume of sales. By giving some discount, we can attract our customers to purchase more. So, with that purpose it is given, and a cash discount is given in order to encourage prompt payment, that if you give it within a month, you will be getting suppose 5% cash discount. So, they will be inclined to give us, they will try to give us as soon as possible, so that they can avail some discount. So, first of all trade discount will be deducted, then whatever remaining from that cash discount will be deducted. When both the types of discounts are there, we will have to deduct the trade discount first and the cash discount then. Again, trade discount does not have any accounting effect. So, it cannot be recorded in the books of accounts or in the journal entries. So, here what we have to do, out of 20,000, first of all 10% deduct, that is trade discount, is 2,000, remaining is 18,000. And out of 18,000, cash discount will be 5%, that is 900, and we will be receiving a check of rupees 17,100. So, how the entry will be passed? This will be bank account debited. When check is received, debit what comes in. So, bank will be the receiver, bank account debited. Bank account debited 17,100. Discount, cash discount is the only discount which will be recorded, that is 900, and that is a loss. Instead of 18,000 rupees, if we are receiving only 17,100, then 900 rupees is a loss, and that loss we will have to write here as a debit balance, debit or losses and expenses. So, discount account debited 900 to sales account 18,000. So, gross value of sales minus trade discount is equal to net value of sales, and we will be writing only the net value of sales. So, net value of sales is 18,000, for that this entry will be there, that is bank account debited 17,100, discount account debited 900 to sales account 1800, sorry 18,000, whatever it may be. So, the narration you can write, being an amount of 17,100 received and a cash discount of 900 allowed for a sale of rupees 18,000. Trade discount will not be recorded. Moreover, we are writing only discount, we will not write cash discount or trade discount, because discount account recorded means it is cash discount. No need of writing cash discount account debited. The next entry we will be discussing is received rupees 6,860 by check from Mr. Y, allowing him a discount of 2% cash discount. Let me write this one, received rupees 6,860 by check from Mr. Y allowing him a discount of 2%. So, what will be the entry? We are receiving 6,860, no doubt cash account will be debited, but how much will be the discount? Here you have to do it like this. Suppose the gross amount is 100. If the gross amount is 100 and we are giving discount of 2, so how much we should get? We should get cash, we should get 98. So, if we are receiving 98, then only there is a discount of 2 rupees and the amount due was 100 rupees. Mr. Y account was a debtor for the extent to the extent of 100 rupees. Now, when we are receiving 6,860, what will be the amount of discount and what will be the amount of Y? Discount will be 2 multiplied by 6,860 divided by 98. In this way, it will be 140. Once you get this 140 here, then automatically this plus this is equal to 98 plus 2 is equal to 100, 6,860 plus 140 is equal to 7,000. That means, originally Mr. Y was to give us 7,000. Out of 7,000, we have allowed him a cash discount of 2%, which is amounting to rupees 140, and the remaining amount of 6,860 we are receiving by way of a check. So, the entry will be bank account debited 6,860, discount account debited 140 to Mr. Y account 7,000. Being an amount of 6,860 received from Mr. Y after allowing him a discount of 140. This will be the entry. Received rupees 56,000 from Mr. Z on his insolvency being 80% of the amount due. We are receiving only 56,000, but actually that is only 80% of the amount due. So, what about the remaining 20%? What was the total amount? What is the amount of loss which can be called bad debt? We have to calculate first, then we will have to pass the entry. If Mr. Z was a debtor for rupees 100, the bad debt is 20%, means 20, and what we are receiving is cash or check, which is 80 rupees. Now, if cash received is 56,000, what will be the bad debt and what will be the total amount due? So, this we can calculate. Bad debt is equal to 20 multiplied by 56,000 divided by 80, which is equal to 14,000. So, if this is 14,000, this plus this is equal to 70,000. So, the amount due was 70,000 and we are running a loss in way of bad debt amounting to rupees 14,000, and the remaining amount we are receiving a check, that is 56,000. So, the entry will be bank account debited or cash account debited, whatever it may be, 56,000. Bad debt, here it will not be called discount, it is a compulsion on us, it is a bad debt. Bad debt account debited 14,000 to Mr. Z account 70,000. So, this will be the entry, being 80% of the amount due from Mr. Z received in check and 14,000 being a bad debt. Paid rupees 50,000 by check for a machinery and 3,000 by cash to Azad Transports to bring it to our premises. Paid rupees 50,000 by check for a machinery and rupees 3,000 to Azad Motors for bringing it to our premises. And rupees 3,000 in cash to Azad Motors for bringing to our premises. When we are purchasing a machinery, it is a capital expenditure. When we are purchasing goods, it is a revenue expenditure. In case of capital expenditures, not only the cost, but also the incidental expenses and installation expenses are to be added to the cost of the machinery. So, here the total cost of the machinery is not 50,000, but 53,000. So, what will be the entry? Machinery account debited, $53,000 to check is given for 50,000 to bank account 50,000 and the incidental expenses is given in cash to cash account 3,000. Being the machinery purchased for 50,000 and transport charges rupees 3,000 paid by check and cash respectively. 50,000 has been paid in check and 3,000 rupees has been paid in cash. So, that can be recorded. Purchased goods for rupees 10,000 and paid carriage rupees 500. Purchased goods for rupees 10,000 and paid carriage rupees 500. When you are purchasing goods, this is not a capital expenditure, this is a revenue expenditure. Why it is a revenue expenditure? Because goods are purchases, when sold it is sales. Goods refers to those goods with which we deal. So, that is a regular affair and it is a revenue expense. So, this 10,000 is a revenue expense, also the carriage is a revenue expense, but we cannot add it, just we have added it in case of capital expenditure, we cannot add it. What we have to write is, we will write purchases account debited $10,000, carriage account debited 500 to cash account or bank account 10,500. Being cash paid for purchase of goods 10,000 and transportation rupees 500. Like this the entry will go. Then one more typical journal entry: goods sold for cash rupees 18,000 and some sales commission paid rupees 500. Goods sold for rupees 18,000, commission paid rupees 500, sales commission. In case of revenue transactions, these goods sold and commission paid will be treated separately. It is not like that you can deduct it and 17,500 in net sale proceeds and cash account will be debited 17,500. Ultimately, cash account is coming to our exchequer for rupees 17,500, but the entry will be separated. There will be two entries for this. One, goods sold for rupees 18,000, we can write cash account debited 18,000 to sales account 18,000. And for commission paid, we can write commission being an expense, commission account debited 500 to cash account 500. So, both the things, that is sales 18,000 and commission rupees 500 have to be mentioned. that is in case of revenue transactions. But if it would have been a capital transaction, then it would have been different. We will be taking another example for that. A machinery costing rupees 1 lakh on which depreciation amounts to rupees 10,000 is sold for rupees 80,000 and we had to pay rupees 5,000 as commission. To the broker. So, if this is the question, how many accounts are involved here? We have to pass one compound entry for this purpose. What are the accounts which will be involved? Machinery costing rupees 1 lakh, that is the machinery account, out of which the depreciation is 10,000. Then we are selling it for 80,000 means for cash, and we are giving cash again, pay rupees 5,000 as commission. So, these are the accounts involved. First of all, we will have to take into consideration what was the cost of the machinery. Machinery was 1 lakh, depreciation is 10,000. So, what we are receiving is cash. We can write cash account debited. What is the net amount of cash we are receiving? We are writing here cash account debited 80,000 minus 5,000, because ultimately we are receiving only 75,000. So, cash account debited 75,000. Mark the difference, here it was separately shown, but here the commission will not be shown separately, because it is a fixed asset, because it is a capital expenditure or capital receipt. In case of capital receipts and capital expenditures, the incidental expenses will have to be deducted and the net amount will have to be accounted for. So, here cash account debited 75,000 ultimately, depreciation account debited 10,000, depreciation account debited 10,000, then cash account is coming 75, 80 minus 5, that is 75,000, depreciation account debited 10,000, to machinery account ultimately 1 lakh, and the difference is your loss, because out of 1 lakh you are prepared to bear the expense of depreciation 10,000. So, 90,000 rupees should be your sale proceeds, but what you are receiving is only 75,000. It means there is a gap of 15,000, that is 10,000 loss and 5,000 again is a expense, is an expense. So, total 15,000 is the loss, that you can write loss on sale of machinery debited 15,000. So, this will be the journal entry. So, here you can mark that the commission was figuring here, because it was a revenue transaction, but here it is a capital transaction. So, commission is not going to figure out. So, this is the difference between the two, that when incidental expenses will be taken into consideration at the time of purchase of the asset, at the time of sale of assets all the incidental expenses will be quietly deducted, and for the net amount we will have to pass the entry. Now, two entries are there which are private in nature. So, whenever you will be getting it in the exam problems, you will have to remember that if there is income tax paid or there is life insurance premium paid, these two are always personal in nature, and if it is given from the company or from the organization cash box, then it will be treated as drawings. Income tax paid rupees 10,000, life insurance premium rupees 5,000. So, even though it is given from the business cash, the entry will be drawings account debited, $15,000 to cash account 15,000. The narration will be, being income tax and life insurance premium on the life of the proprietor paid for rupees 10,000 and 5,000 respectively from office cash. Because it is not the expenses of the business, it cannot be debited to the expense account like income tax account or life insurance premium account, because these are not our expense. Whose expenses are they? They are the expenses of the proprietor. So, the proprietor should be debited, and when the proprietor will be debited, drawings account is debited. Drawings account is the representative personal account of the proprietor. So, drawings account debited to cash account. Now, a question comes, if some income tax refund is received, income tax belongs to the proprietor. If income tax refund is coming and it is kept inside the cash box of the business, then what it will be? So, income tax refund rupees 7,000. This income tax should be taken away by the proprietor, but instead if the proprietor has not taken it, it means he has allowed to be kept inside the business as his capital. Therefore, his capital will be increased. So, the entry will be bank account debited to capital account 7,000 being check received towards income tax refund of the proprietor retained in the business. If it is retained in the business, naturally it is increasing of the capital of the proprietor. So, here we conclude this chapter, that is journal. Thank you.